Hey everybody, welcome to the garden. I hope you're having a great day. Shout out to the lemon and lime lovers and everybody in between. It's time for the crypto market recap. Let's hop into these charts, see what the story is and what it may be. Okay, so let's start with Luna. Look at this awesome move. This is an incredible move on Luna. Absolutely blew me away. Totally well beyond my expectations. For the past couple days, maybe even a week now, we've been really charting out this possible bear flag that was forming, waiting to see if it would validate, but not today. Luna said no way, broke through, and now is at a new all-time high. Really cool move to see. And I gotta say, if you're long this, absolutely congratulations, props to you. But if you just got long this, let's just say you played the breakout trade, be very careful, okay? I'm not saying your trade won't go well, but you got to be careful in this environment. I'm going to explain to you why, though Luna broke this high and now is in price discovery, it can reverse, and it does have to do with Bitcoin. But let's just focus on Luna for a little while longer. So at least I saw a bear flag forming here based off the hard rejection from this zone of resistance formed from the previous all-time high, and then this double top that was possibly forming, and then boom, this hard rejection, and then this really slow curve up, very little volume, very little of follow through behind it until today, of course. So there was a lot of indications that this could have broken down, and that was very likely. Okay, so going off the structure, big move up, then crash down to strong support, made a bottoming pattern, a double bottom in that case, and then another big move up, and then a failure here, which somewhat confirmed a possible double top was forming, and then a bearish flag, a bearish consolidation was forming. So in that structure, around 65 to 70% of the time, so we'll just say 7 out of 10 times it's going to go lower. Okay, 7 out of 10 times this would have broke down, but out of those 10 times, 3 of those times you get exactly what you're seeing now. So that is the challenge and part of the game that you have to keep in mind. That is why risk is so important, because no matter how good the setup is, there is an opportunity that it can go the other direction. Okay, so you gotta be real careful. So if you took your short here and you went 100% in, today is not a good day. All right, but I gotta tell you, if you are looking to go short, as I am now definitely eyeing Luna as it goes higher. My target for short, should it start really ripping through, so we use the fib retracement from the previous all-time high to this pivot low here. It would definitely be this zone up here. Okay, possibly even the 120 zone, but ideally up at the 138.2, the 150, and then 161.8, which equates to $130 to $145, so $145. So in this green zone is where I would love to have a short position, or at least start one. All right, but we'll wait and see what Luna does. We've been patient this entire time with this coin. It served us extremely well to be patient, as we didn't get caught in this. I was tempted at times to possibly open short, but thankfully we waited. What a cool move. This is absolutely fabulous, and it's a great reminder as to why patience is the number one skill to develop in this game. All right, and I do want to go over one more thing in regards to Luna. This is possibly going to reverse back, okay? This is possibly going to reverse back if what I'm seeing on Bitcoin plays out. So let's go with Bitcoin, and I'll show you. So be very careful with Luna. So Bitcoin, let's see. All right, so it broke out of this wedge. Beautiful break, very decisive break. We are finally starting to see some exhaustion, so watch out for that. But this is also happening at a key zone, okay? I don't have it charted here, but it's happening at a key zone. So let me chart it and so you can see what I'm seeing. So let's get this trend line here. We're going to go to this pivot here at the bottom at 39,520. Actually, let's turn on the pivot points indicator so you can see more clearly. So 39,520. And then to the top of the wedge, which was 45,924.5, we're going to pull this trend line. Look at this. Unreal. Okay. So you might be a little skeptical. It's like, okay, well, yeah, it's touching, but what's the actual significance of this line? Well, let's go further back in the past so you can see. Look at this. This is why trend lines are absolutely crucial to mess around with. You can really see how they affect the market. Look at that, guys. Wow. So you got this bottom pivot here, tests this trend line, breaks up, comes back down. All this activity on this trend line finally breaks through, tests it as resistance, fails, comes down, breaks past, support. Look at all this time it touches. Let's just mark it so it's clear. It's absolutely incredible. Look, right here. Take that off. Right there. It's absolutely incredible how many times this is messed with. It's crazy. This is a very, very powerful trend line. Okay, this is a zone that you want to keep your eye on, and now we are finally testing it. We've had this tested what, 6 times now. We're now at the 7th. So we'll see if Bitcoin can muster the strength to get through, if it's going to start some form of a bullish consolidation, like a flag coming down like that, or if it's going to have an exhaust period and come back down to the wedge, the top of the wedge, to test it as support, which would also be fairly bullish if it holds it. Okay, so you may get that move down, holds it, a rounding bottom, and then trying to make another move at this rising trend line as resistance to break through, and that would get us probably to 50K and maybe a little higher. Okay, so we do have some possible moves coming, but we'll see how this candle closes. We have about 3.5 hours, but absolutely incredible. And this is what I was saying in regards to, you gotta be careful, because if this does show any significant weakness, Luna will likely follow. Okay, not much. You might get back into the zone. You might get back under this wick here at 104, 103. But that alone would be very, concerning if you want to go higher. Okay, just because it's broke through doesn't guarantee it's now going to go on a massive run. It's going to really depend on Bitcoin to keep the market sentiment up. That's the big deal. It has to have a bullish sentiment behind it to keep this moving. Because if it doesn't keep moving, you're going to get a similar situation what happened to Bitcoin. So it's like Bitcoin makes that all-time high, and then comes back down, boom, makes another all-time high. Everyone thinks it's going to go higher, and then the follow-through failed because the sentiment started changing. So, you got to be real careful with that, and that's why breakout trades, though, can be extremely profitable. They are a bit risky. So if you are doing them, make sure you have the proper risk profile mapped out in your head. Okay, but this is a very interesting development. I really wasn't paying too much attention in regards to how much this line was touched. I saw it from here to here, and then I decided right before the video to just look back and look at that. And I bet you if I went on a longer term chart with more history, I bet you this line would still touch patterns all the way down towards like 2012, 2013. That's incredible. So this is a really important line. We'll see how Bitcoin reacts to it. So far, it's been respecting it. I am super interested to see how this goes. In regards to our short position on Bitcoin, we are still short. We're in a slight red position as of right now. Nothing too major. But should it break through here, I do have levels where I plan to add on. So be ready for those alerts if you're in the position with me. But this is a really strong zone. We'll see how this goes. So let's get to Ethereum, because we're also short Ethereum as well. As I said before, I will mirror my Bitcoin position with my Ethereum position with Bitcoin. So anything I do on Bitcoin, I'm gonna likely do on Ethereum. Okay, so Ethereum is actually in a very similar situation, but unlike Bitcoin, it has really two cool trend lines I want to show. So let's start with this bottom pivot. So similar to Bitcoin, the bottom pivot right before its all-time high run. So let's do that. We'll hit that, and then we'll take it to the top of the 2284.75 pivot. Look, boom, right on the dot. Total resistance, totally respected so far. So we'll see how that goes. So this is what we're seeing is stalling out Ethereum. But let's take from that same bottom pivot of 2651, bring it down towards the 2928.69. You see that? This right here. Move it through. Look at that. Look at that. What a cool structure Ethereum's in. So this is like an expanding channel. So we'll see if Bitcoin really starts to stall out. We can likely see Ethereum come back down towards this channel and see if it could hold. This is really cool to see as a swing trade, because what this means is if it's respected, Ethereum is going to have some really great swings, really nice moves for the next couple weeks. So we'll see if this can hold. But this is a really cool structure, and you could tell from how much activity you could bring both of these lines towards the 2411, and goes all the way through. Okay, this is going to be a very interesting zone for both Bitcoin and Ethereum, and that will affect the entirety of the market. So the Ethereum short, we are still in, and we are also in the red on this, not too much, just slightly. And looking at both Bitcoin and Ethereum, we can see they are super extended. Okay, they've had very little times of rest. So in any exhaust signs you see is likely to play out. Doesn't mean they will, but it is likely. So do not be shocked if you see a bit of a pullback. And even if it is a pullback, that does not mean it's overall bearish in the short term. Okay, in the short term, this can still be a bullish consolidation. So even though I'm short, it's very important to recognize your counter plays, what is going against you. But we are short because the midterm structure is still bearish, and we're coming into stronger resistance zones as we go higher. So this is the time to get short. Okay, this is not the time to get long. Getting long was when we were down towards here, pretty much when we were long. Okay, retail is starting to get long now, so we want to, as I've been saying, slowly transition into the opposite end of the market. If you're going long now, just be very careful, because you are trading on the side of retail. Okay, you are not trading on the highest probability side. Again, if you're doing shorter term scalps or shorter term swings, that's different. But for us, we're trading off the daily chart, so our short-term trades can be anywhere from a day to a month. Midterm is anywhere from 3 months to 6 months, and then long-term is 6 months plus. Okay, but this is a fabulous structure. I'm very happy with how things are playing out, and if we do break higher, I'm looking forward to adding on to our positions. So let's go over a few other coins. We looked at Luna, we looked at Bitcoin, we looked at Ethereum. Let's take a look at DOGE, because I actually tweeted about DOGE a couple days ago. And I did know something interesting about both DOGE and Avalanche, AVAX, which I tweeted about that one as well. Awesome move yesterday. And then off of the weakness, so when we went towards the end of the day yesterday, a lot of the market turned down. There's a lot of weakness. Avalanche and DOGE had massive pullbacks. Not only did they give back all the gains, they even ended up closing in the red. It was really, really, really brutal to see, but it was a little concerning in the sense that if you're bullish, this could be a sign of a topping pattern beginning. So when you have a large tail, there's different names for it. Morningstar, topping tails. These are bearish patterns that are possible signs of a top of a move that has formed. Okay, it's usually anywhere from 75% of the candle is taken into a wick, and then the rest of the candle is either red or green, depending if it's a bullish or bearish candle. Okay, because a bullish pattern, bullish candle in this form would be called a bottoming tail. Okay, so you gotta. This is very interesting. The way we can know if this is going to get invalidated is simple. This high wick needs to be taken out, and the sooner the better. So this candle or the next daily candles need to break through 0.1537. Okay, once that happens, then this is totally invalidated. But this could be an indication that, hey, a ceiling was formed, at least for now, and Doge may begin some sort of reversal or consolidation. But likely from these candles, it's usually a reversal. Okay, usually a reversal to the next support zone. So for Doge, that would be down towards 0.135, and maybe even lower towards 12 cents, 12.5. Okay, let's take a look at AVAX. It's very similar, very similar. And yeah, you see, AVAX was interesting too because today it actually made a move higher but couldn't stay above it. So, if AVAX closes, under this wick and then the next following days it can't get through again, that's pretty bearish as well. That's pretty bearish as well. And then if it loses the body, so the top of the body of this candle, so it's very small, that's really bearish and it's likely going to break lower. AVAX had a beautiful bull flag had formed, confirmed it here, but yesterday was a pretty brutal day. I'm still pretty confident if Bitcoin continues to show strength that you'll see AVAX get towards the $99 to $100 level, really, playing out the entirety of this measured move on the bull flag. So, but just be careful, just be careful. Like I said, we're in a very scary zone if you're trying to go long now, because most retail is really pumped. I've been seeing many posts on Twitter and other social medias that, Bitcoin bottom, that's going to 100K by the end of spring. I mean, that's just nonsense, guys. I mean, that's absolute nonsense. And if you believe that, I don't know how many times you have to experience these market swings, these market cycles. That's not how this works. Again, I don't want to like poo-poo on people. Like, of course it can. All right, and when I say I'm not trying to be patronizing either, of course this can just go up to 100,000. There's certain things that can happen in the world that would push Bitcoin to 100,000. But just looking at it from the chart, which usually tends to be ahead of the news, and I can tell you why it's usually ahead of the news. But just looking at the chart, I mean, the structure for this is not, at least it's not as bullish to get you to well above all-time highs by spring. I mean, it's possible we may get to all-time highs sometime in the summer, like late summer going to the fall, if we have a massive move above 50,000 and then we hold 50,000 for, I would say, weeks to months. If you hold it for that long, I mean, by the time fall rolls around, you're likely going to get towards the all-time high. But to think you're going to get it in a month or three is kind of ludicrous. But the reason why, charts tend to really almost feels like they show you the future to news is because news is not news. There's news for the masses, news for the classes. And the people who are in the know, the people who are either making decisions or have people that are close to making decisions, make moves in the markets which are displayed on the charts first. Okay, like whenever you see, for a good example, like there was a story that came out that MicroStrategy, which is a big fund that holds Bitcoin, went and bought more today. That's not true. They didn't buy more today. They just let you know they bought more today. You understand? Like they're not telling you when they're buying or selling. Whenever you hear that they're buying that day, they just sold to you, and it's the opposite the other way around. You put yourself in their shoes. Why would you tell the person you're taking money from, I'm going to buy today so they can buy in front of you? No, they're telling you they bought today so you can buy what they're selling you, which is the coins that they bought from you when you sold because they told you they sold. See, that's how the game is played. So MicroStrategy didn't buy up here because there was a ton of news that MicroStrategy and all these hedge funds like ARK Invest were all buying up here. No, they were selling as they were telling you they were buying because they bought down here. It's really that simple. So when you get bullish news like that, they're trying to hype retail in to buy the last 10% of the move. Like, there's a very famous quote, I forget from which Rothschild. He said something as something in this regard. I'm going to paraphrase. We leave 10% for the suckers. Well, if you're buying now, you're a sucker. And I'm sorry to tell you that. So you got to be very careful to get your, to be in that game. Like, make sure you're out of that mindset. Because I can promise you, if you chase things, you're going to forever lose money. If you miss a move like Luna, okay, and then you chase it today, you're never going to make money in the markets consistently. You're going to end up losing all your money. Because that's what they want you to do. They're trying to get you in the mindset to be behind not just them, but behind the news, which is really far behind, okay? So, just keep in mind that whatever you hear in the news, it happened already. And it usually happened a long time ago. All right, so let me get off my little sermon. Let's take a look at XRP. because again, another coin that is totally dominated by the news, and this for good reason. So XRP is in the middle of this lawsuit with the SEC. Really, Ripple is in the middle of the lawsuit with the SEC, and it is a very difficult coin to chart and have any confidence in. You know, I personally am an investor in XRP. I really like the project. I've held it for many years, and the more I've learned of the project, the more convinced I am of its legitimacy, of that it really doesn't have much competition, if any, especially in the crypto space. But to chart it is very difficult because this SEC lawsuit has really put a lot of dampers on the moves. There's just not a ton of follow through. So, you know, I can't give any definitive answers as to, you know, what XRP is going to do in regards to the short-term moves. So let's just ignore the SEC right now, right? And let's just say, well, if it broke through this wedge, as of right now, it looks like it's ready to come back down to test 80 cents. And if it holds this level, look for a nice move to the dollar, because that would be the normal structure of things. Broke this wedge, very bullish, holds this support, and we get a nice move to test the top of where the wedge is, which is around a dollar, and then we see if it can break through that. If it can, then it goes up and it'll likely move towards $1.14, maybe $1.15. Okay, but if the SEC, you know, if nothing comes out from the SEC, nothing positive, then you might get something like that where it goes back under and it gets back into this range. You know, it's like we really don't know. And then if positive news comes out from the SEC, then you're going to have something like this. And the reason why is because, well, now, you know, if there's a regulatory clarity on XRP, that means a lot larger institutions can not only just use XRP for utility, but the exchanges that would love to buy and sell XRP for the customers can get involved, and the spring that's been coiled can finally be let loose. So, you know, again, it's one of the reasons why I don't really, you know, chart it, or at least I don't chart it for the Discord. I don't really share ideas on it. But I did want to go over it because I know there's a few people like myself in the group who hold a lot of XRP, who have been in XRP for a long time. I personally am very bullish on XRP, but we can't discount what's going on with the SEC, and no one truly knows what's happening behind the scenes. We can all see the publications. It looks like Ripple's doing well, but we don't know how it's all going to turn out. So that's why you got to be really careful. You know, don't blind yourself to the negative be ready for any sort of future. Okay, that's really what I want to say. Just be ready for any sort of future. And if your future is riding on XRP succeeding, you know, my advice would be to start diversifying. And I don't just mean by buying crypto. I just mean in life in general, because we don't know how this is all going to play out, and you don't want to. At least I would never want to trust, the government for my future personally. But in my opinion, I think XRP will likely win, and I think the sky's the limit once it does. But, you know, that could be tomorrow, that could be next week, that could be a year from now, or it could be, 5 years from now. No one knows. Okay, so I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go over two more coins. So I was looking at Atom. So remember, we looked at Atom a few times. Atom's in a crazy symmetrical triangle, a really large one, and it's gonna be interesting to see how this breaks out, because however this breaks out is gonna be telling. If this breaks out to the downside, I think there's a really high chance that the all of crypto is breaking down. Okay, if that's what happens. If it goes up, then I think this is going to be one of those. This is going to be very similar to Link last summer. I don't know if you were around, but Link last summer was moving all on its own. It didn't matter what Bitcoin was doing. It went from like $1 to tens of dollars. I think it was like $20, $30. It was unstoppable, and then eventually, I think it almost hit, what was it, like $50? It was pretty incredible to see what was happening. Oh, not last summer, spring. that springtime. So it was really nuts, really nuts to see. So Atom has that potential. Atom really does have that potential, just based off how the chart looks. It's pretty wicked. It's pretty wicked. I have to say, usually this sort of move is likely gonna break down, unless Bitcoin breaks higher, because this is really solid. Like, this is like super strong if this breaks up, really strong. So for the next couple months, this will probably go up unless Bitcoin starts breaking down. So, again, really dependent on Bitcoin. And in the short term, I think Atom will likely come back down and get closer towards the 28 and then break up. So I do see this breaking up before breaking down. I don't think there's gonna be much follow through if Bitcoin starts breaking lower as I expect it to. So let's take a look at Litecoin. I was looking at that one too. Very similar to Bitcoin. Not much volatility compared to like an Ethereum, but a lot of extension here. This looks primed to at least come back down and test this zone here. Take a look at this. So it looks ready to come down to at least test this trend line it broke around 116, 115. And then if it holds that, which would be pretty bullish, it'll make a higher move. Which you might be able to say, oh, that might be a inverse head and shoulders. Maybe. See, sometimes these things do kind of have confluence like that. Have these trend line breakouts, the left shoulder, then the head breaks out, and then the right shoulder holds above it, and then boom. If that's the case, very bullish pattern. But we'll see how this plays out. And if that happens, I'll definitely be looking to go long here, right? Like this, the 110, 109, that'll definitely be a very nice place to go long. And let's just say it is a inverse head and shoulders, and this is the neckline right here. Where would the measured move be? Let's see, just about. Yeah, so like just about one. We'll just round it up to 178. So right near this resistance zone. So that'd be a fabulous move, absolutely great move. So just this is the power of knowing how how patterns work. But again, like I've said in the past, about 26%. Head and shoulders fail all the time. They're one of those patterns where it's about 50 to 60%. They fail all the time. But when they succeed, it's great because you can almost one-to-one get a measured move and really bank in a lot of profit, because they tend to be really big movers once they are validated. Okay, so I think that's it for now. We went over the positions we're in, which is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and we're actually starting to see a little bit of selling here as we go into the last 3 hours of the daily candle. We'll see how these candles close. But I got a lot of messages last night, pretty much asking, pretty much of worry. I think many people were worried because there's just so much positivity in the market that they're worried to go against it. And I totally understand that. I do understand that when you have 100 people or 1,000 people saying, "Oh, this is going to happen," it's really good, and you got a couple people, including myself, that are going against that trend. It's a little scary to stand alone. Well, I gotta tell you, that's where the money's made. Okay, that's where the money's made, and you gotta over time, because it's not an easy thing. Train your mind to be able to stand against the crowd, to go against the grain a little. And you gotta remind yourself, when everyone believes something, most of the time it's flawed. Okay, so just if you aren't in the short with me, that's totally fine. And if you are in the short with me and you're scared, well, as long as you're following my risk, I can promise you this: if we lose, it will be controlled, and if we win, it will be controlled. Everything is under our control because we are controlling our risk. I can't guarantee you that we're going to win every trade. My win record in the Discord is an anomaly. Okay, it's absolutely ridiculous. This is the most winning I've done in a row, maybe ever. Okay, I will lose. I will lose as we go forward. I can promise you that. I can definitely promise you that I will lose more as we go forward. But I can promise you that when we lose, it will be under control. And when we win, it'll be under control, because all I'm doing is controlling our risk per entry. That's it. All right. That's all I can promise you. And, just be patient. That's all you gotta be. Be patient. Don't over leverage yourself. Don't risk more than you can lose. And follow me, and always ask questions. Always ask questions. Okay. So I think that's enough. I went on my box a little today. I probably rambled on, but I just want to make some ideas clear, and just wanted to really touch base on everything here. All right. So everyone, if you're interested in the Discord or the Patreon, the links will be in the description below. If you want to learn some stuff, take a look at the Patreon or the Discord, and you can get the info there. All right, everyone. So always remember, be patient, be vigilant, and be nimble. Love you guys.